Welcome once again to the Firearm Show. With me as always, Chad.
And Terry.
How you doing? I'm doing good, Excellent. Man. We have something here you don't see every day.
Not really.
Tell me about this.
I mean, there's plenty of them out there. This is a Czechoslovakian Model 52, or a CZ52 as it's known. Fires a 7.62 by 25 cartridge, and what a hoot.
It was a hoot, actually. Again, a little piece of history here.
It really is.
So, as you said, Czechoslovakian. Service history was 1952 to 1982. Mm-hmm. About 200,000 of them were made. And what was really cool about this was the price.
When I got it, yes. I got this in the mid-late 90s, and I think I paid around $100.
Now they're going for $400 or $500.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's there's 200,000 seems like a big number, but once that import craze kind of dwindled a little bit, the supply isn't there.
Demand goes up,
price goes up. It is pretty fun to shoot. Now, use cases, this was the sidearm for the Czechoslovakian army.
Correct.
So, as a defensive gun, very good.
Yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons depending on where you're reading. I mean, the bullet travels so fast that it just wasn't realistic. It just way over-penetrated. And yeah.
The interesting thing about it was that it was originally a 9mm. And because of political pressures, they had to have their own round. So they came out with this particular round that's for it. Although, if you're really lucky and you look around, you can still find the 9mm conversion.
Yes.
You have that, but we haven't tried that yet.
I do. It's recommended that you change the extractor so that it cycles correctly. But yeah, I mean, really tough to find. It's actually almost as much as getting the firearm these days is to get a hold of that barrel.
Oh, so if you want one and you can find one already done in 9mm, that'd be a good purchase.
Yeah, that'd be good.
If you can find the conversion kit and you're interested in having 9mm, then that would be good. If you want to fire these, how easy is it to find the ammo for this?
We were firing the bulk Bulgarian today, and I think they come in packs of 1,260 rounds when you buy them in bulk. And I think back when I bought mine, it was about $125 for 1,200 rounds. So, I mean,
not bad at all.
No, not bad.
Not bad at all. In terms of ergonomics, it has a similar feel. In fact, it actually has a lot of characteristics in common with the 1911. So it's not that different in terms of overall design and feel. But there was something when we were firing it, and we both noticed it. We were getting a little soreness on one particular part of our finger. Now, I've been trying to figure it out, and I really couldn't figure out what was doing it.
I think it's just that I mean, the trigger, instead of having it like on most of them, how it's kind of just slightly rounded, this one's square, so it'll eventually. I mean, especially if you have soft hands, I mean, it's gonna hurt after a little while.
What are you saying? Yeah. Yeah, these are pretty sharp edges here. I mean, you don't feel it when you're just playing with it, but when you're shooting it, it's a pretty hefty recoil on it, so it does get to you after a while. So if you want to take a little edge to it, that'd probably solve it right there, or wear gloves. There's that. So definitely compelled us to go invest in some gloves for the next time. But that was really it. Very comfortable to fire. Good grip on it. It's a good size. I really enjoyed it. The only problem that I had, you didn't seem to have this problem, that I would kick the safety up.
Yeah.
And it would act like a misfire. But all I had to do was just move the safety back down, and I could keep going. So I somehow managed to keep hitting that for some reason.
Well, I mean, that round is pretty violent. So I could see how that would happen.
Yeah. We'll stick with that. It's a hard hitting round for sure. Magazines, 8 rounds.
8 rounds.
And can you do 8+1?
Yes.
Okay. So weight is about 2 pounds, somewhere in there. It's just a pretty interesting gun. Great history to it. The ergonomics, not bad. Firepower, we just mentioned that. Heavy hitting round, fast.
For the grain it is, I mean, it travels very fast.
Let's see, cleaning and teardown. We're not going to do it on this one because we've been just kind of working this to see how it is, but it actually tears down. Again, fairly simple. It's just one little clip here, slide pulls off, and
it's actually these two here, if you can see it, one on each side. You just pull that down, and actually will release the upper of the pistol here. And
hey, you gonna go ahead and do it? Yeah. Very, very simple. And then this whole part of this mechanism slides out pretty easily if you're going to clean that. But other than that, it's, again, very similar. 1911, pull the spring out, drop the barrel. So very easy to clean.
It is. And what's really kind of interesting about this is that it actually uses the roller lock breech action that actually HK uses now, which back then, I mean, it was kind of ahead of its time.
That's one of the things about a lot of these older guns that we've looked at. That Colt 25, this one, for something designed half a century ago, to have features that we're seen on modern day guns, it says a lot for the design of these.
It really does.
Obviously they took some hints from Browning, some hints from Colt, and put it together in something that they could manufacture affordably, and turned out something that was good enough for their military.
Yeah. I mean, the only problems that I know that there are with these is the firing pin. The original firing pins for these, if you dry fire them, I know I broke mine after dry firing it 7 times. I just wanted to test that fact. I wasn't going to use it anymore, but you can actually get really high quality ones. We'll put the website that I got mine from below, but those and the rollers are both really soft, but they're inexpensive and very easy to swap out.
In terms of fun factor,
it's a blast.
Man, it's kind of, again, I'm going to refer back to the 1911. It's very similar to firing that. It's got some nice kick to it. It's really easy to keep on target. Once we kind of figured it out a little bit, I think we were both shooting a little low and left or something, and then we just corrected, and we were just tearing up the paper with this thing.
Yeah. I mean, is it as comfortable as 1911?
No.
But there are some similar characteristics there as far as shooting it.
Yeah, but still, just a lot of fun. The problem with it today is value, and trying to find one at a good price is difficult. To find one is difficult. We always research the current prices and things, and it was actually rather difficult to even find one right now.
Yeah, and when you could find one, they were 4 and up.
Yeah, you're obviously finding a used one. It goes without saying. This is an imported used gun that was used by the military, and if you can find one, they're great. The ammo, not that expensive. If you can get the 9mm, well, 9mm is really coming back in stock lately.
Yeah, the bulk ammo has gone up in price, as with everything else, but it's still, if you can get 1,200 rounds even for $400, still.
Yeah, good plinker, good paper one. If you want to carry it as a self-defense gun, you absolutely could.
I think it'd probably be I don't know if I'd choose this as a concealed carry.
I wouldn't, but the fact that it was designed to be reliable. And now we had heard some negatives about that particular Bulgarian ammo we were shooting.
Oh, yes.
And people were complaining about some different issues.
Yeah,
with it.
the necks on them crack. And that's just the ammo. But I've heard of feeding problems. We didn't have any feeding problems whatsoever with that ammo.
Zero problems at all with this thing.
Yeah.
It was as rock solid as a gun could be for us.
It ran like a top. It really did.
That we ran through that ammo. We couldn't load the magazines fast enough.
That was our only problem.
They're really easy to load. Again, very similar to a 45 in loading them.
Yeah.
Same style, single stack. They were very, very easy to load. Get all 8 rounds in, and the only thing I wish I had 15 round magazines. Because we were just boom, done. All right.
Isn't that always the problem, though?
Yeah. It's a good problem to have, I guess, to know that something is going to fire every time you pull that trigger. And that's what you see a lot in these foreign guns that, we can find nowadays, is that reliability factor is so high. When you start increasing or narrowing the tolerances for accuracy, you lose some of that reliability. You find a gun like this, and it is just going to fire every single time.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a blast to shoot this. It really is.
I don't know if I would drag it through the dirt and stick it in mud and then try and fire it, but I bet it would still work.
It probably would.
It's just, it has that AK-47 kind of feel to it, and you're firing and you just know it's going to fire every single time. And that's one of the things I really enjoyed about it, was just plunking away with it. We didn't have any problems. We were a little concerned about that ammo because we had read about it, but definitely no problem from our side.
Definitely had zero problems with it.
And staying on target was real easy. I'll tell you, that first shot, though, it kind of surprised me a little bit.
I tried to warn you.
He was telling me it's got a little kick to it. Well, it has a little kick to it, that's for sure. Did surprise me a little bit. Just like, all right,
that's all right.
Now I know what I'm into here, and just had a lot of fun with it. I don't know if you can find these anywhere. I don't know that any range is going to have them for rent or anything.
Unlikely, very unlikely.
But hook up with some friends who have stuff like this. If you can ever get your hands on one of these out at a range somewhere, or a friend that's got one, or if you can find one somewhere, you gotta try it. Just when we talk about the fun factor of this, we've said it every time we've had some historic gun. Just being able to have your hands on something with historical reference to it. Mm-hmm. This was, a military weapon from Czechoslovakia. It's got that vintage to it, 1959. Is that right? 1952. Being able to fire something like that and just really enjoy it for what it is without having to worry about it.
That's just it. They're built very, very solidly. If you're really looking to get one of these, they actually came. This is actually the original military phosphate finish. I don't know if you can see it, but they actually went through. I think a year after I bought this one, they actually went through a re-bluing, and they're really a dark black. Didn't really care for the finish on that, so be cautious of that. I know, maybe you would like that. I don't.
Some people do, some don't. The Parkerized finish is, it's not bad. This one is it's a really clean looking. This is a great sample. Mm-hmm. Just in terms of the quality of it, the way you got it, it's just excellent condition. And I wish they were still $100 because I would certainly have one in my collection just to have one. I don't know that I'll ever buy one now because the price keeps going up. But you've got one, so I don't have to worry about it. But it's just being able to fire something that's that old in such good shape, get a feel for what those people went through when they were firing them, and have that same experience. There's just something to that. And that's one of the things I really enjoy about shooting, is being able to shoot a wide variety of things and see what other people were shooting at different times, the Mosin Nagants, the AR-15s, the AK-47s, and being able to have the whole experience. And it's
you bring up a good point. You look at a lot of the new firearms now, you can see where they've taken some of the good from different things and actually incorporated them into a new design. You bring up a really good point.
Yeah. Try to find one of these. It's what I'm saying. Maybe not to buy, but try and find one of these that you can get your hands on and take to the range, because, man, it is just fun. There's no doubt about it. Value proposition these days, if you can find a good priced one, grab it.
Yeah, if you can find a good priced one.
Now, you didn't buy this as an investment.
No.
You bought it because it was $100.
I bought it because of, I saw the over-penetrating bullet. I thought, eventually do some ballistics tests, things of that nature. But it ended up turning out to be an investment, I guess. $100 for that. You bought the armorer's kit for it? I actually bought two. The nice thing about the armor's kit is anything you may ever need for the weapon itself is in that kit. So I ended up getting 2, knowing that I'd be running quite a bit of rounds through it, and I think I paid $70 a piece for the armor's kits.
And then the 9mm conversion.
The 9mm conversion I bought back then, and I actually got the extractor. We'll put the link in there as well. But for reliable cycling, I mean, they really recommend.
Okay, so all in, you were probably like around $300 for the whole thing.
3 to 4.
And nowadays, the gun's going for $4, the armor's kit's going for a couple $100.
No, they're actually going for 3 to 4.
3 to 4 for that now. The 9mm conversion, I couldn't even find one to find a price on it.
Yeah, the last one I saw was on eBay, and it was like $3 or $3.50.
So
it was ridiculous.
If you wanted to think of it as an investment, I mean, you got $1,000 sitting there. So that's a hell of a return on investment if you buy guns as an investment, which it wasn't, but you know you could easily get your money out of this 3-4-fold.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's something to be said about getting in when a new firearm gets into the import, which there's tons and tons of guns out there that have never been imported. Once a new one comes in, get in on the ground floor of it, and it could be a good investment for you.
Could be. I had no idea because these were, kind of a dime a dozen everywhere when I got mine, and now they're drying up.
Yeah. So it's the CZ52 from Czechoslovakia. Check it out if you can ever get a chance to. Fun gun to shoot. Not that expensive to put rounds down range. Hard hitting round. Got a nice kick to it. Just that first round may make you jump in your shorts a little bit if you're used to shooting something smaller. But after that, man, you just get on and just start wailing away with it.
It's a good time.
Just needs bigger mags. All right. This is the Firearm Show. We'll catch you next time. Take care.